Hello everyone and welcome to this demo on SmartView. My name is Michael Agostini and I'm a business applications consultant at Cole Systems. Over the next 5 or 6 minutes we're going to go through some of the functionality of SmartView, which is a Dynamics GP third-party product developed by E1 Solutions. What we find is that most of our GP users are heavily dependent on smart lists on a daily basis to get at all aspects of data in GP. We feel that SmartView is a more powerful and efficient way to actually view that data, and I'd like to show you some of that in this demo today. Specifically, I'm going to show you how we can view the data at enhanced speed. I'm going to look at some of the groupings and subtotals, and finally some of the new filtering options that are available. I'm going to go into GP, and we're going to go into SmartView, which is just below Smart List. We're now looking at the SmartView window, and all Smart Lists, Smart List Builder lists, and any favorites that were created in Smart List are all carried forward into the SmartView window, as you can see. I'm going to go into Purchasing Vendors, and I've created a favorite here called My Vendors, which contains some information on vendors. I'm going to maximize the window. First thing you'll notice on the right-hand side is that there's a column which contains all the fields that are related to this particular smart list called vendors. And I can select any of these and add them to the smart list. I'm going to go in and click on 1099 type. You can see that they immediately come up, the information. I'm going to select a few additional fields here. And you can see that all the information has been added to the smart list. Now, one of the nice things about SmartView is that I can actually move the window back and forth, which is something I could not do in Smart List in GP. I can also hide the smart lists here. I can hide the column on the right-hand side, giving me a full view of my smart list, which is quite convenient when you're analyzing data. I'm going to bring back smart list in the columns, and I'm going to untick the fields I just selected. And I'm going to show you how we can do some sorting. I'm going to go into Find a Panel, and I'm going to sort on Victoria. You can see I get two records. One has Victoria in the city field, and the other has it in the address field. So you can see that the sorting or the search feature is quite powerful. I'm going to clear that. If I knew that I had a record that ended in, say, 91 cents, but I wasn't sure what it was, put the 91 cents, and it's going to bring up all the records that end up in 91 cents with current balance. I can then select the one that is appropriate. I can double click on here, and of course it takes me to the vendor maintenance window, which you're familiar with. I'm going to clear that out. I'm going to talk a little bit about grouping, which is a powerful feature in SmartView. I'm going to bring over an additional field called Vendor Class ID. You can see it's here. I'm going to start by grouping by country. So I'm going to bring country over, and I'm going to go into options and just collapse my groups so we can see them clearly. You can see that we have 4 countries grouped. Now I can click on here, and it's going to show me all the vendors in the Canadian grouping, Canadian country. You can see that they're sorted by current balance here. Now I could go in and change the sort to vendor name, for example. You're going to see that within each country group, it's sorted by vendor name, which is quite convenient. Now I can export this information if I want to into Excel. I'm going to do that. So what's nice is I can bring the information into Excel in the group format. I'm just going to hide some of these columns. And I can very quickly do a graph based on the grouping. And you can see how quickly you can analyze the data. You can also do an additional graph on the country Canada and so on. I'm going to close out of here. and I'm going to collapse all the groups. And now what I would like to do is bring in the vendor class ID. And again, we'll collapse the group so you can get an overall view of what I'm doing. You can see now that we have the 4 countries, and if I go into the US, we have the 4 vendor classes that are associated with that country. If I click on the vendor class, it's going to show me the vendors. Again, they're sorted by, I believe we last left it as the vendor name, so you can see that they're sorted by vendor name. And I could change the sort and go into current balance if I wanted to. So what I'm going to do is roll everything up again, or sorry, collapse all the groups. I'm going to move the country back to here, and we're just now looking at the actual vendor classes. You can see that they're sorted here by the alphabetical vendor ID. Now I could go in and I can sort by current balance if I'd like to. So they're now sorted, as you can see here, by the current balance. So what I can do is I can go into here and choose the 3 classes that have the highest current balance, which is what I've just done. And here they are here. I'm going to collapse them again. You can see they're here. Now there's a edit filter button in the bottom right, which I'm going to click on. It's showing me that I have a filter basically on vendor class ID, and these are the 3 classes. Now I can add additional filters. In fact, I can add unlimited number of filters. I'm going to add one more in here just to show you. We're going to do current balance is greater than, say, 5,000. So now what I'm getting is I'm getting a list of the 3 vendor class IDs, and these are the respective vendors in them, and only vendors that have current balances that are greater than 5,000. When I go back into edit filter, you can see I have that additional filter criteria here. Again, I can continue to add filter criteria if I want. I can also do something interesting, which is to add a group. So I can actually add a second group here. I can change this to OR if I would like. And this gives me the opportunity to really filter on the data in a powerful and deep way, something that is limited with SmartLists and GP. So I'm going to close that out, and I'm going to remove the group. Now what I'm going to do is go in here and I can clear the filter if I would like, bring the vendor class ID back here, and I'm back where I started. I'd like to show you one more thing. I'm going to go into Financial, and I have a favorite here called Account Transactions. And it's going to take about 7 or 8 seconds to bring up all the data in this particular list. I believe we have, as you can see, over 22,000 records. And again, it takes about 7 or 8 seconds. I'm now going to go into SmartList here and pull up the same SmartList. And I believe it's right here. And you can see now it's starting to churn through the data. And it takes about 1.5 minutes to 1.75 minutes to actually pull up the same data. So I just wanted to give you a sense of the speed that you can access data with in SmartView. And it doesn't make things convenient when you're analyzing a lot of data. You can see it's still churning. So I hope this helped you get some understanding of the functionality in SmartView. And if you have any additional questions, please contact me. It's Mike Agostini at Cole Systems Associates. Thank you very much for listening to this demo.